Region Economic Bloc is holding a Legislative Assembly caucus meeting today at St. John's Hotel in Kisumu. The meeting will serve to orientate the Assembly caucus on the formation of the bank and the draft Assembly bill, which will be used to ratify the bloc in all the county assemblies. Each of the 14 counties will send a delegation headed by the Speaker and Deputy, Minority and Majority Whips and their deputies, clerks of the county assemblies, chairpersons of Budget and Finance committees. The meeting will be chaired by Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya. And earlier I did speak to my colleague Kevin Ogutu, who is still on standby for us in the lakeside city of Kisumu. Kevin, if you're still with me, the last time we spoke, the caucus did not still have a sitting. Have they begun their sitting at this moment?
Well, very good morning, Yusuf. Actually, the caucus is yet to have its sitting, and actually, we are actually waiting for the governor together with the other members who are expected to come here. Remember, as you've mentioned, each and every of the 14 counties is sending a 10-member delegation, having in place the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, the Majority and Minority Whips, together with the chairpersons of the Finance and Budget committees, just to mention but a few. So this is one big meeting that is actually being waited here with bated breath. Remember, we are talking about 14 counties that form the Lake Region Economic Bloc, starting all the way from Nyanza, Western Region, and even part of the Rift Valley, because we have Bomet County, Nandi County, Uasin Gishu County, just to mention a few. So as you mentioned, this is about 14 million livelihoods that these 14 county governments is trying to come together through this particular economic bloc, so that together, by pulling up the resources, they can actually uplift the livelihoods of the residents of the various counties that make up this particular bloc. So Yusuf, I'm fortunate enough to have with me John Manyolo, who is actually a key stakeholder here at the Lake Region Economic Bloc. Can you tell us this journey, how has it been so far as an insider?
Thank you so much. This journey, as you are all aware, began in the year 2014. This is the year 2017, and we made very significant strides towards this journey. As you know, there are about 6 regional blocks in this country. We are proud to be the first one to have launched its economic blueprint. We were also very proud that we are the first bloc to have had the governors or the summit sign the legal agreement. Today, we are meeting our representatives from the various county assemblies so that we move to the next step, that is of having the bill, LREP Bill 2018, passed in our respective county assemblies. So I want to say that the journey has been quite excellent, and we've scored many firsts as a regional bloc compared to many other in the country. Thank you.
So Mr. Manyolo, probably to break it down to an average villager somewhere in Bomet or in Siaya County, he or she will be hearing that the governors are sitting here, and they will be wondering, what is there for me? How do I stand to benefit from this small village where I am?
Thank you so much. As you are very much aware, the reason why our governors are coming together is that out of assessment, we have realized that the counties as presently constituted are too small a unit to leverage on economies of scale. For example, you want to look at it that if we pull together, there's strength, there's strength in numbers and pulling together, so that where we want to invest in infrastructural projects that may be costly for one county to undertake, then this pulling together then makes it easier for us to achieve such. Also on areas of coordination, I think the first years of devolution, we experienced that our governors were kind of duplicating their projects. So in neighboring counties were almost undertaking similar projects. The end result of it was that our resources were not well used due to that lack of coordination. So the Lake Region Economic Bloc will allow that coordination to take place. And even externally, we are trying to tell our locals that when we come in as the Lake Region Economic Bloc, instead of looking at counties with populations of about 1 million, you are looking at populations of about 14 million. So that even positioning for investment and other issues that will interest businessmen and even development partners, when we position together, then it becomes easier. So there's lowering of transaction costs for our counties. As a result, the savings thereof will benefit wananchi in those projects. Some of the projects we want to undertake are pro-people, because other than the regional bank, we are talking healthcare, we are talking agriculture, we are talking about women, gender, persons with disability, and the youth. So the programs that are designed at LREM are meant to benefit wananchi at the grassroots.
So, Mr. Manyolo, before I let you go, talking about the Lake Victoria is a bit of a shared resource, covering about 4 out of the 14 counties, and of course adjacent to the others. They are quite near. That's why we have the Lake Region Economic Bloc. Now, talking about the 3 pillars that you have, that is the 3 sectors that you have, that is in production, productivity, productive sector, where we have, yes, and then what's the significance of this particular resource? How much do you expect to get harnessed from it?
Now, with Lake Victoria, and you're right, it's not just about the lake itself, but we are looking all the way to its catchment areas. That's why you have counties as far as Nandi, Kericho being part of the Lake Region Economic Bloc. When we are looking at this resource, we are looking at how we can use it to harness the potential of this particular region. Remember, our geopolitical positioning is such that we are placed at the most strategic point for access to markets regionally. And we are looking at Uganda, Rwanda, Congo, all the way to the interior. So we are trying to find a way how we can utilize this particular resource so that we are able to create markets for our produce, for those farmers within our region, and even producers and manufacturers within our region. So we are looking at how we could expand, for example, maritime transport, that is cargo and passenger, through the Lake Victoria to enable our produce reach those particular markets and our people to move freely. At the same time, we are looking at how to use the lake for tourism, to unlock its tourism potential, water sports, resorts, and hotels. If you look at the other side of Uganda, they've utilized their waterfronts. That is not the same with the 5 counties that are having close proximity to the lake. So those are some kind of potential we're trying to unlock under the banner of the Lake Region Economic Bloc.
And then lastly, we've talked a bit about agriculture, which is actually a key pillar here when it comes to productivity. Tourism is another one, but there's very little that has been done in this sector, in this particular region. Do you have something to say about that?
Yes, we have something to say about that. One, the traditional actors within tourism have ignored this particular region in terms of tourism and marketing. At the same time, as those of us who come from the region, we've also not tried to package our product so well so that we are able to face the market and be competitive in the market. And when we do it as individual counties, you realize that the experience we're trying to sell to tourists are so limiting. When we come together and establish the Lake Region Economic Bloc Tourism Circuit, then we are able to offer an array of experiences that can now compete very favorably within the tourism market.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manyolo, for that comprehensive elaboration there. Thank you so much for that. So, Yusuf, as I've mentioned, the meeting, the caucus, is actually yet to kick off, but as you can see, there's actually quite a lot of expectation here. Remember, we're talking about over 14 million residents from these counties who are expected to actually benefit from whatever will come out of the success of this particular economic bloc. Back to you, Yusuf Ibrahim.
Kevin Ogutu, before I release you, one final question about the economic bloc. It's all about lifting the standard, the living standard of the people there in all these 14 counties. It's all about promoting county trade between these 14 counties. Have you managed to talk to the people of these counties, to be specific, Kisumu, where you are, and how are they receiving the information that, the Lake Region Economic Bloc is now ready for takeoff?
Sure, I've talked actually at an individual level with a number of residents of Kisumu County, where I actually call home for now. And actually, the residents are looking forward to something that would actually uplift their standards, something that would give them that exposure, that launching pad, so that they can actually realize their potential. Remember, Kisumu is being associated with fishing, but of late there is very little coming out of the lake. So if probably the more can be done so that they could get more from it and other resources that they have. Remember, we have an international airport, and they are wondering how do we get the best out of this. So talking to an average resident of Kisumu, actually they are actually expecting to get much from the success of this, because as Manyolo has explained, when we talk about over 14 million, so some counties could maybe have 1 million or so. So when you talk about 14 million, that's a big market actually, and also the productivity is likely to get higher. So collectively, they're likely to have a bigger output. So that is it from here, Yusuf, and what the residents actually say on this.
Thank you, Kevin, for that. Of course, we're going to link up with you once that sitting officially begins. But now let me take our viewers straight